Are you a procrastinator that's left all your holiday shopping to these last few weeks? Come on, man. Well, I would know, we could smell our own, but I got you covered, don't worry, because in this video I'm gonna talk about last minute holiday gifts that are made in the USA. Welcome, I'm Murawski, and don't worry, you're in good hands here. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna mention is socks. Now, socks are one of those gifts that, you know, in the beginning when you're a kid, you hate getting them, but when you're an adult, you actually like getting them. And I've talked about socks for a long time. What you're gonna want is some sort of merino wool blend. They last a lot longer. And you won't notice until you start realizing you're throwing away your cotton socks and wearing your wool ones more. Now, there are a lot of great companies out there. The one that I see recommended a lot in my comments, however, is a company called Wigwam. Now, Wigwam makes some premium socks. Many of their socks are made domestically, although I don't think all of them are, so you may wanna just check on that. Now, the ones that I like are their hiker light sock, and you can get it for around $25 to $30 a pair. A 3-pack still comes in under $100, so you can get a 3-pack too. Now, alternatively, you could go with my all-time favorite, Darn Tough Vermont. I've talked about them forever. The big thing with them is their lifetime guarantee, which is no joke. I mean, you could take these things, wear them out, send them back, no receipt needed, and they'll send you a brand new pair. But I've spoken about them before, we're talking about Wigwam here. Next up is the classic Buck 110 folding hunter knife. I think that's what it's called. This thing's an American classic. Even if you don't know exactly what I'm talking about by the name of that thing, you know what I'm talking about. You've seen these before. I think it's even in Kill Bill. I mean, like, these things are everywhere, and they were something that most men carried on them until we switched over to something like this, like a clip folder kind of thing. But for a long time, people would carry these on the outside of their belt. And little bonus here, 5 Mile Mercantile, who I've mentioned before, makes a specific Buck 110 sheath, which is pretty cool. But anyway, the knife itself, it's just iconic. It's been an American favorite for 50 plus years, still made in the USA. And it's about $70. So it's one of those things that you can get that has probably a little bit of history to it, maybe even within your own family. And it's ultimately useful as well. So it's old school, it's American made, it's affordable, what's not to like? Now, if you don't like the 110, or maybe you want something just a little bit different, well, take a look at the Buck 112 Ranger. It's just a little bit different, but it's something that maybe it's just a different flavor. And actually, Buck knives have a whole bunch of them. But again, you gotta be careful because not all of them are made in the USA. If that matters to you, they do come in at different prices for different materials, so you can get garbage from Buck, and you can get great stuff from Buck, so just make sure you know what you're buying. Next is the Rite in the Rain Tactical Action Bolt Pen. Now, the name tactical, I don't like, and especially when it comes to pens. I mean, what is, you writing your tactics down? I mean, come on. You know what I mean? It's just a buzzword that I think is overused and at this point is pretty cringy, but whatever. Bolt action pen, which means that, there's a little bolt that slides over, kind of like a rifle, and it's pretty cool. Now, I wouldn't include it here if I didn't like it. Now, it's made in the USA, and actually, interestingly enough, the pocket model is a collaboration between Rite in the Rain, Fisher Space Pen, and Pokka, P-O-K-K-A. I don't know, people love to correct my pronunciation. I probably got that wrong too, and I'm not gonna fix it. And they're using a Fisher pressurized cartridge in a compact body. It's explicitly labeled made in USA, so you know what you're getting. And this is their standard all-weather metal pen. It uses US-made pressurized cartridge that writes through water, grease, mud, whatever the hell you got on your pad there. It operates also from -30 degrees to 250 degrees. If you're in an area where it's 250 degrees and you gotta write something down, I hope it's like your last words to your family or something, because 250 degrees? I've been in attics that have been, 120, 130 degrees before, and you're sweating. I couldn't even imagine 250 degrees, much less being cognizant enough to write something down. But either way, if you wanted to, you can get this one. Now, these go for about $100, which is a lot of money for a pen. I mean, I have a hard time spending that on a pen. So if you're like me and you're a cheapskate and you want to buy something a little bit less expensive, well, there's always the classic Fisher Bullet Space Pen, or whatever it's called. It's just a classic. It's one of those pens that, everybody's probably had at one point. And bonus on these is that they look way cooler beat up, because if you get them in black, like the black painted version, beneath that is all solid brass. So as that black coating, starts to chip away and stuff, it just looks way cooler. Now, they're awesome. They're not very expensive. They're totally worth it. I mean, I like the I think it's the reason it's called the bullet space pen is because it folds in half and it does kind of look like a bullet, sort of. These are about $35. And the only thing I don't really care for with these is that it doesn't tend to hold that pen nib very securely, so you get like a little bit of rattling there. But for something that you carry on, on your person just in case, or in your pocket or in your truck or whatever, these things are great. The Case Mini Copperlock Pocket Knife is, I think 70 to 90 bucks depending on which model you get. And I got one of these a while ago. I think it was actually at Cabela's, and I was just, I was walking through and I'm looking at the pocket knives. Like, I need any more pocket knives. Like, I have more than I could ever use in a lifetime. But I'm over there looking in the display case, and just something about it. I mean, I really love the traditional folding pocket knife. This is what my dad used to carry, and I have just sort of a soft spot for them. So this is, again, all that to say that even if you have somebody who you're buying gifts for and they have everything, or they have like lots of knives, so what would they want another one for? Most of the time, if you're somebody who's into knives, you could always use more. And like, if I got this, even though I have a whole Pelican case full of knives, I'd be over the moon. It's just a cool, old, traditional pocket knife. What's not to like? Now, it's made in the USA, and like I mentioned, it's kind of close to 100 bucks. If you're looking to spend a little bit less money, you can always go with the Case Sodbuster Junior, which is a smaller knife and a little bit more affordable. You can get these for about 45 to 50 bucks, and they're just, again, a really useful little pocket knife. So you have a lot of great options within the pocket knife realm. Channel lock. I mean, for a long time, I thought that channel lock was the style of opening that these things had, because oftentimes we use that interchangeably for any number of different pliers, like hand me the channel locks. Not necessarily the blue-handled, channel locks, but anything that has sort of a tongue and groove mechanism for the jaw opening. Tongue and groove always feels dirty to say. But anyway, specifically their GS3 tongue and groove plier set, which is a real buy once, cry once kind of deal. These are made in Meadville, Pennsylvania. And, you're gonna see a lot of these called out in best of USA made products in lists all over the place. They're a total workhorse. Now, they're gonna cost you approximately $45 to $65 for the 3-piece set, depending on where you go. And I mentioned before, Knipex, right? And somebody said that it's actually Knipex, which actually could be true. I don't know. I was just being a smartass in my reply. And so, however it's pronounced, I also don't say, like, we say Germany, and they don't say Germany over there. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Alternatively, if you don't want to get the channel locks, well, Klein just came out with a similar style to the Knipex that look really, really good. This is the Klein Tools Pump Tongue and Groove pliers, the 3-piece set again, and they look really, really good. A lot of Klein tools specifically call out when they're made in the USA. These don't say it on them, so I'm not really sure that the quick adjust claw pump pliers set is made in the USA. You may want to check that if that's really important to you. But either way, here's an alternative if you don't want to go with the channel locks. How about the Princeton Tec Apex headlamp? Now, headlamps are one of those things that you don't realize how useful they are until you have one. Most of the time when you have a flashlight, you have to use one hand to hold the flashlight, or you put it in your mouth, you tuck it in your chin, or whatever you do. And when you have a headlamp on, it frees up both hands, and they're really, really useful. This is something that I always have in my tool bag because, when you're climbing around, like I said, up in an attic or wherever you happen to be, having that headlamp is really nice. A lot of times these things go from spot to flood and everything in between, so they're very, very useful. Well, what's cool about this company is that Princeton Tec is a family-owned US-based manufacturer. Their headlamps are made in America, and the Apex is a high-output IPX7 rated headlamp used by rescue, industrial, and outdoors folks. They cost anywhere between $70 and $90, and if you want an alternative to this, you can look at almost any reputable flashlight brand. Most likely, they have a headlamp available. I really like mine from Phoenix. It's super bright, it's great, but it's not made in America. So there's a lot of options out there. It just depends on what you want. The Bully Tools 22-inch combination snow shovel. If you don't live in a place where it snows, you can skip past this because it doesn't really matter. But right now, as I'm talking, it's snowing outside. And now I gotta go find my snow shovel because it's the first snowfall of the season, and frankly, I'm unprepared. Now, why get this? Well, it's 100% made in the USA. It's marketed as tools made to last a lifetime, and it's really like, you'll find this in a lot of those buy it for life circles. This is often mentioned. I love the idea of buying something once, having it forever, taking care of it, and then, either you throw it away because it lived a very good life and it doesn't owe you a thing, or you pass it on. I mean, I much prefer that to the crappy Home Depot shovels that, crack in a season. Now, these cost somewhere between like $40 and $45, and if you want an alternative, well, there's one from the snowplow.com. This is pretty cool. This is called the original Snow Pusher Snow Shovel, and it's kind of the same sort of deal, reinforced steel and all that stuff. It looks like it's pretty heavy duty stuff. And you can get this for about $60. They have a 28-inch version and a 36-inch version. And a 30-inch version, so you can get any size that you want, and it just looks badass. So, a good heavy-duty snow shovel, they're awesome, and they're invaluable up here. I spoke about Rite in the Rain before, but they also have notebooks to complement their pens. And the whole idea, again, is that you can write almost anywhere with these things. And that really does come in handy, especially if you have a notebook that you use a lot, or if you're just looking to get multiple years out of it, and that it won't get ruined by the water. We carry these a lot out in the field, especially if you're doing stuff outdoors. Right now we're doing a lot of highway work, we did railroad work, stuff that is outdoors, and that makes a big difference. Now these cost somewhere between $8 to $12. They're great, but if you are looking for an alternative, well, I found a really good one that I just sort of discovered while I was looking up things for this video, and this is by Rite Pads, W-R-I-T-E. And this is I guess a small family-owned company, and they are, again, made in the USA. They make a whole bunch of different styles, and so you can go on there and check it out. This is kind of a more boutique-y kind of brand, a little less industrial. But again, if you're looking for a great USA-made alternative, this would be the one that I would check out. Nordic Ware Naturals Baker's Half Sheet. I had to say that like 12 times to get it right. Now, if you like to spend time in the kitchen making your own food, then you know that having good kitchen essentials it really makes a huge difference. And I have been known to say yes to a cookie or two, and I mean, who doesn't like them? I mean, what you don't like a muffin every now and then? Come on, what are you, gluten-free? Anyway, Nordic Ware Naturals sheet pans are made in the USA. They're supposed to be amazing. They're always lauded for their durability and their lifetime warranty. You can get one of these things for like $15 to $25, but of course, you have to like to cook or bake or whatever. Obviously, I don't know because I'm using all those terms interchangeably, but luckily I do know people who like to bake and cook, so that works out for me. If you're looking for an alternative because you also find their name very difficult to say, well, check out USA Pan. I mean, like, that's the simplest name ever. They have a bunch of baking sheets on there as well. You can choose your size. There's way more sizes here than I thought there ever would be. I don't bake that much. I make sweet potatoes on a baking sheet. That's about it. So, yeah, that's the other alternative. Is it Rada or Rada? I mean, it would probably be Rada. Well, they have a paring knife gift set. And again, I don't know much about cooking, but I do use knives quite a bit. I used one right before this to cut up an apple and have it as a snack before I started here. So, I mean, a good paring knife is awesome. And this is a really cool brand, so even though I can't pronounce them, they make all their knives in the Midwest from US materials, and their paring knife gift sets are under $50, depending on what you get, 20 to 40 bucks, somewhere around there. You want an alternative, I can tell, you greedy. Anyway, this is, how about Dexter, Sandy Safe. This is the S104. I'm not gonna read all that, okay? There's another one here, they're red, white, and blue, looks really cool. They're 31 bucks for the set. There you go, there's another USA made option. So you can go ahead and you can get that, go ahead. It might feel like this video is getting more and more unhinged, and it's because I gotta pee. And I don't wanna stop recording to go downstairs and pee. I want to finish this, so let's keep going. Okay, how about the Chemex classic coffee maker, 6 or 8 cup? A Chemex is, you know, it's a little hipster, you know what I'm saying? Like if you get one of these, chances are you're gonna wake up and you're gonna have a man bun, all right? Like it just happens overnight. I don't make the rules. That's just what happens. You start making coffee in a Chemex, before you know it, you know, you're wearing glasses, you got a man bun going on, you're telling people how much you like the Lumineers before they were cool, and whatever. But anyway, I've heard that coffee out of these is really good. My standard for coffee is very low, but you know, if I were to be spoiled, then maybe this is what I would use. Now, they're handmade and hand finished at their factory in Massachusetts, and they're treated as a design icon. Really, really cool. This is one of those American-made classics that is out there. The price for one of these is between $45 to $60. And you know, if you want an alternative to that, there's always the AeroPress. I mean, I know there are two different ways of making coffee, and a lot of people can tell the difference between those two. Personally, I can't, because I think I have the taste buds of a walrus, but you know, whatever. You could either get the AeroPress or get the Chemex. Either way, you're gonna look like a hipster douche. Okay, American Giant makes a lot of stuff, and their hoodies, I have one of the first hoodies I think they maybe ever made. It's years and years and years old. This year though, you've seen me wear it. I should have worn it today. I'm not prepared. I actually got a waffle knit Henley, which is so soft and so warm that I wish I had gotten several of them. And so some of American Giant stuff can be hit or miss. I like a lot of their stuff, but I've also gotten a few things like I wasn't really too blown away with their pocket tees. But this is something that when I bought it, I've been wearing it pretty much constantly. It's a great piece, so definitely check them out. And American Giant likes to, again, talk about they have American sourced products that are made here in the US, so again, a very good American-made option. But if you want an alternative, well, there is one. I would love to check these out someday. All American Clothing supposedly have some great basics for cheap, and that's a brand that I would like to check out myself. So if you do end up getting one of these, let me know what you think about them, because I'm interested. Midwest Gloves and Gear, deerskin work gloves. You know, now again, you've heard me tell you time and time again that I love Vermont Glove, and those are some of my favorites. But just like with socks, there are a lot of really great options out there. This is one that just kept on coming up on lists as I was doing research for this as one gloves that people really liked. So again, made in the USA. An alternative to these, which I also like and have several pairs of, is from Sullivan Glove. Their goat skin gloves are really, really durable. I like their elk as well. Those are another one that I have. They're a little bit softer. So if, maybe if you're not dealing with, you know, barbed wire and things that are really gonna eat through your gloves, get something that's a little bit softer, they'll still hold up. Occidental leather, I love Occidental leather. These were always the tool bags that you aspired to have one day. And I did actually end up saving up and getting one of these, but you know, let me back it up a little bit. The first tool bag that I ever bought, I got at Walmart. I was a fresh young apprentice, and I just went to Walmart and I looked around. I think I found a Husky or something. I was like, all right, it's good enough. And I actually blew through that thing real fast. If you're doing residential, you know, staples, screws like that, just kind of eat through cheap leather, and that's exactly what happened. So I always wanted an Occidental tool bag, and I ended up getting one, and it's an heirloom piece, just beautiful. Now, if you want to go on there, and it can be daunting when you look around, but one of my favorites is actually the is it called the 5-in-1, I think? Yeah, it's the 5-in-1, that's what it is. What's great about these, and what ends up happening as you go along in your career, you start realizing how little you need to carry on you. And you know, now I literally carry my lineman pliers, a 5-in-1, a knife, and like that's kind of it, you know what I mean? Unless I know exactly what I'm doing, I'll have to grab some other tools. So it's nice to have a little basic tool kit that's on you at all times, because that way you don't have to bring around everything. This is just a beautiful piece, especially when you get it in that oxy red that Occidental uses, which is a really gorgeous, vibrant leather. They're $51. They carry 5 essential tools in one holster. It also has a hammer loop, a metal hammer loop. Just beautiful. Looks like it also, oh man, it carries all kinds of stuff. I could fit more tools than 5 in there, I bet you. And I probably would if I had this, but it's really, really nice. Now, alternatively, if you don't want to go with Occidental, you can go with their sister company. Now, they weren't always the same company, but now, as I understand it, they are both under one roof, and that's Badger tool belts. Now, whereas Occidental, they really specialize in leather tool belts, Badger does a lot of things heavy duty nylon, which is lighter, super duper durable, still made in the USA, and awesome. So whichever one you go with, poke around over there. They all have a lot of great options, and I know you won't be disappointed. Duke Cannon's big ass brick of soap. I mean, you know, I'm not one for like, you know, crass advertising and marketing and stuff, but that's pretty funny. And Duke Cannon stuff actually does smell really nice, and it's gigantic, so it lasts forever. I mean, there's no mistaking my soap and my wife's soap in our shower. Sometimes I think she's using mine, but either way, these are, you know, they're really cool. They're made in the USA by a family-owned plant that used to supply the military. So like I mentioned, these huge bars, they basically last forever, and the whole brand is sort of built around a military working man kind of thing. So if you like that aesthetic and you like what they have to offer made in the USA, you could do a lot worse. Now this whole list has been based around American-made products that are somewhere around $100 or less. And you may notice that behind me, I have an American flag that's sitting back there. And it's important that if you have an American flag, that it's not a piece of junk. Now, I'm proud to be an American, and if somebody on your list is also proud, that you can get them a decent American flag. Now, this is gonna be kind of tricky because, again, it's sort of a weird name. I think it's Annin, yeah? A-N-N-I-N, I don't know. And the nice thing about this is that they are FMAA certified and 100% made in US factories. They've been making flags in the USA since the 1800s, and they're about 30 to 50 bucks. I think you can get different sizes and stuff like that, so it depends on how much they are. But if if you're gonna get an American flag, it should be made in America. Alternatively, there's the Valley Forge American flag, which is also FMAA certified. You're kind of looking at two sides of the same coin here, just depending on which one you like better. Look at shipping, look at which one's cheaper, which one's gonna get to you in time because you're a last minute buyer, I know it, because we're the same. And that's just a great way to round out this list, is with a great American flag. But anyway, I gotta pee something fierce. So I hope that you have a great holiday. If you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate, I hope it's a great one. You get to spend time with your friends and family and those that you love, and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.